All right, hey, welcome back. Dr. Dorsey here, inventor of sit and decompress, among other products too. But this is a video on conditions that sit and decompress can help with, okay? And this is actually one of my favorite conditions that when I was seeing patients in my office was uneven hips, okay? Now, uneven hips is a condition that can pretty much wreck and mess up your ankles, your knees, your hips, and your spine, and everything in between. It is an awful thing that is so easily treated. It's something that's so easily treated that if it's left undone, people will be getting knee replacements, you'll be getting hip replacements, you'll be getting both knees replaced, you'll be getting both hips replaced. And it's a simple fix to correct uneven hips, okay? And a medical doctor will never do this for you. An orthopedic surgeon will never do this for you. A chiropractor, maybe. They may do it for you. I know in the area I practiced, I was the only one that ever did this. And the reason I say that is because I'd have patients coming from other chiropractors' office coming to see me for this issue. Okay. Physical therapist, I don't know very much about if they look at x-rays and diagnose and treat off x-rays, but maybe some of them, okay? So uneven hips, why is it a big deal? Well, so this is actually a little bit wider than 5 millimeters, but if you took a normal pencil, okay, that's 5 millimeters wide. So when 5 millimeters is an important number because if your hips, so when you get an x-ray, you have to get an x-ray for this, get a standing x-ray A to P, so you shoot straight through here. You'll get the picture of these hips and you'll get a picture of your spine. You want to measure the distance between your left and your right, or the height of your left and your right, okay? So if left hip is a little bit higher, well, you want to measure the distance between the left and the right, how much difference there is between them, okay? If it's the width of a pencil, again, this is a little bit wider than a pencil, this is probably like 8 millimeters. So if it's this wide, probably 8, you're gonna have to put a heel lift or an orthotic on your low side, okay? So again, this is about 8 millimeters. A pencil, just use a normal, yellow pencil. Those are 5 millimeters. If you're more than 5 millimeters, you have to put something on your low side, okay? Chiropractors, we amongst the chiropractors, certain chiropractors think that they can adjust people to correct the 5 millimeter difference in your hips. Well, newsflash, you can't, okay? And the reason that is because typically the uneven hips is from an anatomical short leg, meaning your leg, or you were born with a leg that was shorter on one side over the other, okay? No one's perfect, right? One ear is bigger than the other. One hand is bigger than the other, one arm is longer than the other. So you're not perfect from side to side. You're close, but you're not perfect. So when you find out that one side is lower than the other, you have to raise up the low side, okay? Now, what happens if you don't? Well, over time, okay, say your right side's low, what's gonna happen is your body's gonna start to adapt to this change, or this unevenness, okay? First of all, your spine has to adapt. So you're going to start to develop scoliosis, okay? There's going to be some curvature of your spine. Because if this unevenness stayed there at 5 millimeters, that means that you would be tilted 5 millimeters walking around all day, okay? That's not going to happen. Your spine wants to stay, or your head, your eyes want to stay over top your shoulders. So, your spine will start to curve, and not only that, your gait is going to change too, okay? Typically, the short leg is the problem side. So what you have to do, again, you have to put a heel lift on or in your shoe to raise it up to get more level. Okay, so if you're more, say you're 10 millimeters. I've had someone that was like 1.5 inches, and it was drastic. It was a kid. So what do you do with someone who has a huge difference? Like, let's just say 3 pencil widths height, okay, or 2 or 3 of these. So what you do is you slowly raise them up with orthotics or with heel lifts on the low side. 3 millimeters every like 2 to 3 weeks. You put 3 millimeters in, and you put another 3 millimeters in, so now you're up to 6, okay? And eventually what's going to happen is that you can't put in any more heel lifts on the low side because you just walk out of your shoe. So typically what happens is that if you get a pair of new shoes, you just got to get a sole put on the bottom of them, okay? Or you know, just put something underneath to raise that side up so you don't have to wear the heel lifts, okay? So when your hips are uneven, what that does is that changes the angle that your hips and your knees and your ankles are working. So typically you'll see someone start to wear out their knees thinking that there's something wrong with their knees, when in all actuality, it's their uneven hips is what's causing the problem, okay? Or they think that something's going on with their hip. They're like, well, why does my hip bother me? You know, my left hip's good, but my right hip's bother me. Well, if you look at the overall picture, uneven hips changes the angle that your legs are moving, and that puts stress on the joint where it's not supposed to. And when that happens, things start to wear out, okay? You start to wear grooves in bones where they're not supposed to be, and then your body doesn't like that. So what it does is it starts to make arthritis, and what arthritis is just deterioration of the bone. It starts laying down new bone to stabilize. So it's like again, this vicious cycle that if you're out of alignment, things just start to wear out, and then you start to get arthritis, stiffness, pain, and then it's, oh, now I gotta get it replaced because it's not right. But if you would have kind of, you know, gone back 10 years and figured out that, oh, hey, my hips are uneven, I need to have a level hips, okay? So, you know, and that's the thing is that, you know, when you go to a medical doctor and you say, man, my knee hurts or my hip hurts, make sure they shoot an X-ray of your low back to get a picture of your lumbar and your hips, okay? You got to be standing. I get some people coming from other offices or from medical doctor and they're laying down, and I'm like, that doesn't do me any good. Right? Because when you're laying down, tight muscles will pull your spine different ways. So when you're standing though, this is how you normally stand and walk. Okay? So you want to get that normal anatomical standing position and posture. Okay? So if it's low, you got to raise it up. And then also what you have to do, see a chiropractor, a good chiropractor who knows what he's doing, and get adjusted. Okay, get these joints adjusted, because what's happened is that over time you've adapted. You have shortness and tightness, and the joints have adapted to this new posture. And that's why, new hip height. So that's why over time you just add 3 millimeters at a time, like every 2 weeks to 4 weeks. You add a little bit more. Okay, and it's not perfect. You don't have to do it exactly like that. But it's just, you know, you just want to go slowly because your body's adapted so much to this old posture that by changing the new posture, you could hurt things the other way. You could throw things off the other way. So you go nice and slow, okay? So also what you want to do, sit and decompress. You got to use sit and decompress, okay? Again, scoliosis is typical whenever you have uneven hips. So you got to strengthen this, or strengthen, you got to lengthen the spine. Yeah, you got to lengthen the spine so you can strengthen the spine, because, you know, if you're crooked like this, that's not a very strong spine. You just bend it over, right? So you want it nice and strong. Now it's, or nice and straight, and now it's strong. Okay? So the uneven hips, super easy to fix. Super easy to fix. Now, do you get that height ever back? Can you adjust it out? Can you get that 5 millimeters back? No. And the reason that is because you have an anatomically short leg. Your right leg or your left leg is just shorter, and you were born that way. Okay? Deal with it. Okay? It's just something you got to deal with. And that is the best way to treat uneven hips. Okay? If you have any questions or comments, you know, put them in the bottom down there in the comment section, and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. But yeah, uneven hips, super easy to treat as long as you know what I just went over. Okay? Make sure you get an X-ray and make sure you measure. Those are the two most important things. All right? So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.